There was a landslide in 2001, which wiped out half the population in the village where I lived in Sumatra. And they live on the edge of the rainforest, and it was caused by logging. That kind of thing also is affected by the water rising, different temperatures, larger rainfall than usual. And they had this massive flood that was 11 meters high and just washed through the whole village. 1,000 people died from the landslide. When you see things like that, then you realise we have a really big problem, and those problems are going to get more and more if we don't do something. It's a group of people which has principles. There's 10 principles, but one of the most important one is non-violence. If you want to carry the XR banner, you have to be non-violent, but you don't need to ask for permission to do an XR action. So we could plan one right now. We could say, let's go outside the door and do a die-in in front of Sainsbury's. As long as it fulfills all the principles, then it's an XR action. And what is XR? It's like a beautiful celebration of art and people for this crazy, scary thing that's happening to us as humans. Like, we don't have any more time. Extinction Rebellion means we're rebelling against becoming extinct. That's, I think, the shortest way to say it. Everywhere you go in the world, people are saying things are changing, and they've been saying it for the last 10, 20 years. It started getting really obvious. We've got to change how we live. We have to change the system as well, which frightens a lot of people. But the system isn't serving normal people anymore. And I think this is our best chance, some form of civil disobedience. Civil disobedience means you do something that's illegal and you're facing down the system. And what that does is it makes a dilemma, so the government doesn't know how to react. And you put them in a position where they have to act, though. I keep on toying with the idea of arrest, but I've been told that I personally shouldn't be arrestable because I have a child and I don't have a lot of family here to look after my kids. At the moment, most of the people being arrested will go into prison for 24 hours, but nobody knows how that might change. You don't have to get arrested, and you can still play a very big role in Extinction Rebellion, but I do think the arrest part is the powerful thing. That overloads the prison system, and then other people start questioning, why are you arresting all these people? And they also ask, well, what is the government doing about these people who are disrupting everything? It puts climate on the agenda, and it has worked. The strange thing is the planning that some companies are doing, like Heathrow Airport. They're planning this third runway, which is obviously a really bad idea considering we have a climate emergency. They have planning for climate change. They actually have planning within their plans for the third runway. They have plans how they're going to mitigate with climate changes. And all the big oil companies have also made plans for just in case the climate changes. But they're not thinking, well, maybe we shouldn't build this runway, or maybe we should go to renewables, like start moving towards 100% renewables and stop taking fossil fuel out of the ground. It seems like so crazy. Lots of people go, oh, aha, you fly, so you are an evil hypocrite, and you saying that we shouldn't do this and we shouldn't do that. And it's not about that. That's one of the principles of XR, is the no blaming and shaming. We're all guilty of destroying our environment. We've all done things. Even if we don't fly and don't eat beef, we're still causing emissions just by being. The only way we can actually change things is by demanding that governments and corporations change. That can cause real system change that we need. It's too late for individual people to stop flying, and obviously it's good if you want to do some actions, but the only way that we can really do it is not by blaming people. If we say, oh, if you fly, you can't demonstrate against climate change, then nothing's going to happen. But if they start charging more, for example, for flights and making trains cheaper, then real change can happen. It will force people to change. It really depends on the action. There's so many different things, but one of the major things you will see is when you arrive, you see lots of banners, lots of colourful flags everywhere, and also the principles will be hung out somewhere. There might be people meditating in one corner, and then there might be a samba band arriving. There will be chants, there will be speeches. There will be music, there'll be prayers. People are always welcome. and there will be a lot of police around around the outside. That's what it will look like. And the Red Brigade, of course, they're amazing. They're all dressed in red and they have white faces, and they are always silent. So they do miming, and there'll be about 10 to 70 people dressed in red, and they'll come and walk really slowly through the middle, and it will be complete silence then while they're walking. One of the most amazing images from this rebellion was a police line and the Red Brigade facing them off. How does the police are supposed to react to a load of women and men dressed in red dresses? It's beautiful, and I think that sort of encapsulates what Extinction Rebellion is about. It's about beautiful rage and grief and expressing that, but also having a plan. And they do have, it's very organised as well. There will normally be food. Everyone gets fed during the rebellion, but also if you get arrested, there's a massive arrestee support. So people meet anybody coming out of jail at any time. There will be someone there to greet you and give you a snack or a cup of tea or bus fare or whatever you need. So it's a really well organised, really beautiful movement, I think. The people who are against Extinction Rebellion, they want to disrupt our daily lives, they want to have parties on the streets, they don't have jobs. That's kind of not true, most of it. Most of us have jobs. Well, I have 3 jobs, so. People get upset about their cars being stopped, and then they go, oh, you're causing lots of emissions because our cars are idling. Part of me feels just that's really funny. It kind of makes me laugh because I'm like, yeah, it's inconvenient now, but think about it when things start flooding and we have 1 billion refugees in the world. That's going to be really inconvenient.
I've come here today because I heard about the work of the hunger strikers, and I was very moved by it. I think that when people make an act that profound, when they risk their health, especially when they're 60s and 76 years old, we need to listen. And when I learned that they'd been here for over 3 weeks and that not one member of the Conservative leadership or MPs had come out to speak to them, just to speak to them, I thought it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable in a democratic country. We know we have millions of children marching right now asking for change. The UN have called for urgent and transformational change. We know the majority of the UK population are concerned about climate change, and we need to see politics that represents those voices.
I feel grief, but I've also recently, which is quite an un-English emotion, is feeling rage. Or even not even a me emotion. I'm quite a sort of kind, friendly person who tries to be nice. But recently I've been like, nice is not going to cut it. Like I need to be angry about this. I need to be outraged actually that in 30 years we will start seeing the real effects, and then I'll be 70 if I'm still alive. So, but my kids, they will be my age now. You can't really imagine what kind of world they'll live in then. Whether they'll have jobs, whether they'll be able to buy houses or, It just really terrifies me. So, yeah, but I think climate grief, like this feeling, it came to me in April of this year. Before that, I didn't feel it. I just understood that it was a problem and it made me annoyed and frustrated. But then when I started taking part in Extinction Rebellion actions, I started realizing this is a real thing. This is a real thing that's affecting, and I couldn't stop going to the demonstrations. I think it's definitely making a difference. Whether people love it or not is not so important. We all live on one planet. And we're all connected, so anything that happens elsewhere is going to affect us sooner or later. But we think if we bury our plastic and our pollution and stuff in other countries, it won't get us. It won't now, but maybe in 20 years it will. The government should be protecting its people. That's the bottom line. 10,000 people die in London every year from pollution. So if there was a disease killing 10,000 people in London, we would definitely be doing something about it. So why are they not doing something? And climate emergency is even worse than that. It's not just pollution, it's so much more. It's already killing people around the world. So why are we just sitting there and watching it happen? That's, yeah.